Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news and transfer news show, because today is transfer news crazy. We have the here we go for Antony to Real Betis this morning, and it's not stopping there. Right after we got the Antony here we go, we got Manchester United in for Dorgu from David Ornstein, but then basically confirmed by every source that United are working on a Dorgu deal. Dorgu said yes, Dorgu's agent is in Manchester. Then Man United are flying out to Italy to complete the deal. What is the situation with Dorgu to Manchester United? Because that deal looks like it's going to happen. Then there's also more news, updates, and stories coming out about Garnacho. Garnacho to leave and not Rashford now. Rashford ready to stay. Napoli, Conte on the phone to Garnacho trying to get that move done and over the line. It's pretty crazy at the moment in regards to United news. We'll go on the latest on Garnacho. We'll get into the latest on Rashford. Obviously, Gittens been linked to United as a Garnacho replacement. Amarin pushing Ineos to sign some players and enter the race for Gittens. Amarin would have only sold Antony if he knows he's getting a replacement, which is more, I guess, news that probably helps the Gittens case. The fact that as soon as we know Antony's gone, we're in for Gittens as well. Garnacho himself open to a move out of United, been on the phone to Napoli, a little bit of Nori news and more, but there's so much news, so much news coming about. And Marcus Rashford has come out with and said he hasn't come out and said, but the media have come out and said he's briefed the media that he still wants to play for Man United. So what is happening there? Let's dive into it. Let's get into it. And let's start with the news, people. But please do go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new, if you do enjoy today's video as well. We will talk about academy players, who could be ready, who could Amarin be willing to give minutes to. So obviously, this is what came out this morning. United in talks with Lecce over a potential deal for Dorgu, blah, blah, blah. It was then said that Amarin is keen to add reinforcements to United's squad in the January window. Amarin run a form. Manchester United negotiating with Lecce to sign Patrick Dorgu, and Manchester United scheduled a meeting with Lecce in Italy regarding Patrick Dorgu. The side value the player at £25 million. So what else has been said since that news I covered earlier today? Matteo Moretta, who's a good source of information, has said that Manchester United officials are expected in Italy in the next few hours for further talks with Lecce over a deal for Patrick Dorgu. Manchester United has scheduled a meeting. They value the player, the Italian side value the player more than 25 million. We value him at 25 million. I think it's 25 million add-ons to take it to 30 million deal. Manchester United officials will have a direct meeting with Lecce this week for Patrick Dorgu. Ruben Amarin has approved of the player and is a strong candidate on the list. So United then having another meeting in regards to Dorgu. He's a player that Ruben Amarin has approved of. Of course, he will approve of because one, he needs a fullback. His system is crying out for a fullback, and two, Dorgu profile-wise is an attacking fullback. If you think of a profile that is an Amarin fullback, Dorgu is that guy. There's lots of interesting updates coming out on Dorgu. And this is coming from people like Fabrizio Romano. This is coming from, reliable outlets, by the way, guys, are people that are breaking this news. So there's a direct meeting with Lecce this week to maybe try and finalise the deal. Romano's obviously confirmed interest, saying United is set to open formal talks with Lecce for Patrick Dorgu, and the player is keen on joining United. Romano's confirmed the player wants to join United. Ben Jacobs says that Manchester United are hoping a deal for Dorgu is possible for 21 to 25 million. I think it's going to be 25 to 30 million. Although Simon Jones of the Mail said that Manchester United have yet to make a formal offer for Dorgu, but Lecce anticipate negotiations will head that way over the coming hours. So they haven't made a bid yet, according to reports, but there's negotiations and talks going on in regards of Dorgu to Manchester United, and obviously Fabrizio Romano has confirmed he wants to join. He will say yes as well. We are going to talk about Gittens and Rashford and what could be going that way as well. We're going to talk about Chelsea and for Garnacho. If Garnacho becomes the player we thought he would, could kick ourselves if we sell him. We're going to talk about that later on. I agree. There's actually a lot of news of Chelsea and for Garnacho as well, and it is coming from Romano. And as Alex said here, we've been linked to Dorgu on and off in recent seasons, but I've not watched much of him. So I watched a game that Dorgu played in last season. I watched a Serie A game last season, and this was the first time I'd seen Dorgu play, and this was like back in March last year. And he really caught my eye, just the way he drove forward and went to get forward in his, what's the word, desire and drive. That's the way I can describe it. Good ball carrier. And then I've kept an eye on him ever since. Like, I've probably seen Dorgu play 90 minutes of my life. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on him. I've seen bits of him here and there. I've kept an eye on him. You see highlights, you see all of that. But I remember watching him for the first time a little over a year ago and thought, this guy's good. And then when Ruben Amorim came in, and I watched him play again last month, I thought, the links there with the kind of fullback that he is, I think it profile-wise looks like a good signing. We will talk about the deal in more detail later on as well. Hi Alice, can you shout out my mum Nina 50 today? Happy 50th Nina. Cheers for the super chat, Josh. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does. But from what I've seen of him, which is very limited, I'm not going to pretend I've watched loads and loads of him, but from what I've seen of him and the analysis I've done as well today, I think he is a good fit for the system. Is he like a fit Luke Shaw? I think he's more of a natural attacker than Luke Shaw. For sure. Luke Shaw is actually back fit next week, apparently. He probably won't be, though, is he? Dorgu looks good, but I hope he becomes a world-class player. Too much pressure on a young guy. The only thing I had with Dorgu, and the reason I wanted Kerkez, the reason Kerkez was my first choice of a Dorgu, was because Kerkez can do it in the Premier League, and he's got that extra 2 years of experience on Dorgu, whose breakout season was last season, and he's not done it in the Premier League, and it's like, it's a little bit like throwing an academy player in there, but an academy player that's had more minutes. As another young player, well, I think we need a little bit of experience. But he's definitely the Kenda sort of type player, for sure. Hulman, yeah, we'll talk about sporting players. Gyökeres, Hulman, Kenda, Inacio, Diamonde, all being linked to United at points as well. But we've got a gentleman's agreement with Sporting that we will not sign any of their players in the January window, by the way, guys. People say we need Gyökeres in January. We won't be able to get him. Unless Sporting put them up for sale, which they won't, we won't be able to get them. We have been linked to Ryan Cherky in the past, but apparently that's one Liverpool are watching. I don't know what the reliability is in that, but I want to get into some more news. I want to get into some more stories. So this has come out about an hour ago from Italian sources, Gazzetta, which, to be honest, I give Italian sources a bit of stick because I do think they take the mick and like to write reports for clicks. But they have been quite accurate in regards to this Dorgu story. They broke the story before David Ornstein. So, Gazzetta is saying this in regards to Dorgu. This is the latest coming out on Dorgu. Lecce will allow him to leave if United offer 30 million plus bonuses. United want to do it for 25 million plus bonuses. Contact between the two clubs have intensified now, and Lecce aim to close the deal as soon as possible. United want to get this deal done. Dorgu wants Man United move. Lecce want to get this deal done. It just depends on agreeing a fee, agreeing a price. Some reports say we've made a bid. Gazzetta also saying that Manchester United have submitted an initial offer for just under 30 million euros for Patrick Dorgu, but it isn't considered enough to please Lecce. However, talks are said to have intensified in recent hours, and it's thought an offer of 35 million plus bonuses would be accepted. So United have offered about 28 million euros so far for Dorgu, which is about just under 25 million pounds. I think United will up that bid by a couple £1 million, and potentially that gets a deal over the line. The first bid for Dorgu seems to be rejected, but I'm very sure and confident that Manchester United will go back in for the player. It's also said that United are looking at a number of left back and left wing backs in the window. It's understood that Lecce's Patrick Dorgu is one, but there has been no formal offer yet, and it will be difficult. It will be a difficult deal this month. United are also monitoring the Nuno Mendes situation at PSG. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I think Nuno Mendes at PSG could be using us for a new contract. Part of me thinks, well, he's not a Luis Enrique type player. There's an opportunity with Ruben Amorim. The Premier League is obviously a better league than League 1. Maybe he wants out an attacking role. He's been at PSG a while, but I'm not sure. Is his agent using the obvious Amorim at Manchester United to get him a better deal at PSG? Because some reports say that there's no indication that Mendes is going to stay at PSG, and other reports are saying there's a strong indication that Mendes is now going to sign a new deal and stay at PSG. I don't know if Mendes is using us. I think Kerkez and Dorgu are the more realistic, but Bournemouth will not sell Kerkez unless we want to pay 50 bloody million until the summer. We'd have to pay ridiculous fee to get it done as well. Big up everybody who's watching right now. We've got nearly 1,000 people watching. So big up to everybody in the chat. Bournemouth will not sell Kirkus this month. They'll sell in the summer as they do not have the finances to keep their best players. I agree. Now, interestingly, I've always said this, Kenda, Ruben Amorim likes to play left-footed players as his right wing back sometimes. So Dorgu could potentially play right wing back for United. We could get Dorgu and Kirkes rather than getting, a Dorgu and Frimpong. And you can play Kirkes left wing back and Dorgu right wing back. And there's a bit of versatility there for rotation and stuff. But then you've also got two players that can naturally play left wing back because we'll move Shaw and Malacia on. I think that's something that United could look at. I think getting Dorgu, if you get him for 25 million, I still think we potentially go in for Kirkes as well. If I had the money, I'd sign Lautaro, Barella, Guimaraes, Tonal, he's at Cunha, Gordon, Semenyo. I mean, look, if money wasn't an object, I'd sign Cunha, I'd sign Semenyo, I'd sign Kirkes, I'd sign Dorgu, I'd sign Gyökeres, I'd sign Stiller, I'd sign Bruno Guimaraes, I'd sign Schlotterbeck. But yeah, no, we've got to be somewhat realistic as well. I like Aït-Nouri. My first choice is Kirkes, and then Dorgu and Aït-Nouri are behind Kirkes. But I did tweet about Dorgu 2 months ago and say that I like him before we were linked to him. So he's always been on my list as well. There is some reports saying that his agent is also speaking to Inter Milan, but I reckon that's Lecce pulling out that information to scare Man United into bidding what they want. He said yes to United, his agent has flown out to Manchester, Lecce and United are in talks. I wouldn't be surprised if Lecce used the fact that Napoli or Inter Milan may have interest in him to try and, get more money out of United. But I will say this, Man United are crying out for a left wing back. They do not have a left wing back that is fit or any natural left wing backs in the squad. Inter Milan, DeMarco, I don't think he starts for Inter Milan, to be honest. I don't think he starts for Inter Milan, if I'm going to be totally honest. So I think also Premier League, we've got quite a good Danish link at the club. I think he would pick Manchester United over Milan anyway. And maybe that's me being silly because look at where Milan are at compared to us. But I still think he would. Hard to imagine still going for Kirkes if we get Dorgu. So many positions need sorting. Yeah, but I think we need 2 wing backs. Because we could just play one at right wing back. I think we need 2 wing-backs for Amorim's system because we don't have any wing-backs that suit Amorim's system. Mazraoui's best games have been right centre-back. Euro's naturally a central centre-back. Maguire is also naturally a central centre-back. That's the way I look at it. So I'd like to see Euro right centre-back, De Ligt wide centre-back, to be honest. I'd be happy if we get Dorgu. So would I. I think it'd be a good signing as well. Bayern is just in DeMarco. Maybe if DeMarco goes to Bayern, there's something to be worried about. Aït-Nouri's good, but Wolves are not going to sell him. Wolves are in a relegation battle, and they're not going to sell to be honest. We are Wolves' relegation rivals, so they probably won't sell to us, to be honest, which is quite a sad situation to be in. It's understood that Lecce's Patrick Dorgu is one, but there has also been no formal offer yet, and it will be a difficult deal this month. United are also looking at Nuno Mendes. Dorgu has a verbal pact to leave Lecce this month if the big club comes calling, says Ben Jacobs. Now, interestingly, we know that United were not going to go in for anyone until they've moved someone on. We've obviously got confirmation that Antony's leaving United, but who else could be leaving? Manchester United will consider loan offers for Tyrone Malacia. It is felt he will benefit from regular football elsewhere before returning in the summer. United looking for incomings in that position with Patrick Dorgu of interest. And reports in the Netherlands say that Man United have agreed to loan out Malacia. I did a live stream talking about this the other day, or video talking about this the other day, but very, very credible outlets in the Netherlands, Malacia's essential mouthpiece, have said that United have basically agreed to let him go out on loan. It's been decided he will go out on loan, and United are just waiting to see what club's going for Malacia. But it's essentially been agreed or decided that he's probably going to go out on loan, which again, Malacia going out on loan, Antony leaving, I think that is space opened up for Dorgu. I know that Bournemouth have brought in the left back, but I don't think they sell Kirkes. Unless, we bid something crazy and we massively overpay. I don't think they're going to sell Kirkes, but I don't think we're going to overpay. I think Ineos are trying to move away from overpaying. If money and FFP wasn't a thing, I would buy Wirtz, Victor Gyökeres, Nuno Mendes, Frimpong, Bruno, Poliba, Camara, Eze, Cherki, Bastoni, Diamonde. You don't ask for much, do you? You don't ask for much. I'm not sure about Eze. I have mixed feelings about him. I think he suits the left 10 in Amorim's system, but he's been a bit hot and cold for Palace this season. He's definitely in better form, though. So, yeah, what did you think of Onana's performance? Shocking. Onana's one of those where Onana was faultless for about a 6-month period and we started believing him again. And then he's gone back to Champions League and making those mistakes. But this time, we're not even in the Champions League. It's in the Premier League. So let's talk about the news. Let's talk about other updates. I want to talk about Rashford. I want to talk about Garnacho. There's so much to talk about. People keep reminding me Ryan Cherky's going to be available for £20 million in it, but Man United haven't been incredibly linked to him. But it could be one to watch. Would you get Cunha? I would, but Wolves will not sell in January. That's been agreed upon as well. Anana will never be good enough. Man United needs an elite goalkeeper. I actually agree with that. But my priority is outfield players in 2025, replace Anana in 2026. To be honest, why have I closed my screen there? So, what else has been said? So, we've got this. Ruben Amorim wants Manchester United to sign players before he lets other players go this month, which is fair. Now, the fact that Antony's been let go of says to me that Ruben Amorim must be pretty confident that a new signing is coming in and a new signing is coming in the door, because otherwise, even though it's Antony, he's not going to let him go, because we're very thin. We're very thin. We're very low on the options front. Let's be honest. So it'll be interesting to see what new additions come in. Now, we have been linked to Gittens. We haven't been linked to Cherky. We have been linked to Matthias Tell. We've been linked to, there's rumours of João Felix and being involved in a Garnacho swap deal. There's a lot of rumours about, but I'm not going to get into news that's not credible. I want to get into credible news now in regards to Garnacho, because Garnacho's sale could be giving us the funds to really get the players in that we want to get in. And Fabrizio Romano, who is a bit of a mouthpiece for Chelsea definitely briefed him with stuff, has come out and given us a big update on Garnacho. Both Napoli and Chelsea are really interested in signing Alejandro Garnacho. This is a story to watch in the final 2 weeks of the transfer window. I'm going to say this now. Alejandro Garnacho, if you're watching this video, which you won't be because you have a life, and you probably don't watch Alice Talks Football videos, but not saying that people that watch me don't have a life, but I'm just saying he's a very busy footballer and probably doesn't watch YouTubers. But go to Napoli over Chelsea. I'm saying this not because I'm a Man United fan. I don't want you to go to Chelsea, but Chelsea have 1 billion wingers, and they've got Esteval coming in, Payet coming in, Neto, Madueke, Sancho. They've got 1 billion wingers. Go to Napoli because you'll be the main man. You'll be the one they love. They treat like they're Kvaratskhelia. That's all I'm going to say. First of all, makes way more sense. But you know what I mean. But it was said that Chelsea and Napoli are ones to watch. At the end of the day, we're given to whoever pays out the most money. But I'm hoping that Chelsea's interest will drive up Napoli to pay the money. I'm at the point where I'm still sceptical about Garnacho going, because I think if he turns into a top talent, it's one that we regret, and I still think there's a good player there that's being judged too early. But then I also think I just don't know where he fits in Amorim's system, because he's not a 10 and he's not a wing back, so maybe he's just not a player that's going to fit, and maybe he is one to go. Do you know what I mean in regards to Garnacho? But I'd rather see him go to Napoli than Chelsea. I've got mixed feelings about him leaving, but I think I'd rather see him go to Napoli than Chelsea. I don't know why that's gone back there. We've also got more updates coming in from Fabrizio Romano, which I will talk about in a second. But yeah, I'm guessing Garnacho wants to go abroad, probably keen on Italian or Spanish lifestyle as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'd go Chelsea. It doesn't make sense. The only way he goes Chelsea is if Chelsea bid more than Napoli. But I think we can hopefully use Chelsea to get Napoli to drive up the price. Napoli are top of Serie A. They want to stay top of Serie A. They've lost one of their best players. The dream one to replace them is Garnacho. That's who they want. Anyway, said by Melissa Reddy, Alejandro's Garnacho's camp are considering his options with the player's long-term future in mind. In the event of his valuation being met, his camp have fielded an influx of inquiries. United aren't actively looking to sell Garnacho, but if a 60 million bid comes in for Garnacho, who doesn't 100% suit Amorim's system, and we need the funds to invest elsewhere in the squad because it's a mess, of course Ineos are going to consider it. And I think Garnacho knows that they would consider that, so he is looking at options for his future because he knows that he's not safe and the club would consider selling him. And I think Garnacho has every right to do that and every right to look at that. It was also said that Antonio Conte had a direct call with Garnacho on Friday. Napoli are continuing to push for a deal. Now, this has been said by Fabrizio Romano. Now, there's been Italian media said a few days ago that Garnacho had been on the phone to Conte and essentially given a verbal agreement. So now that Romano's confirming the first part of that story, maybe there is some truth to it. Italian sources saying that Garnacho has essentially given Napoli a verbal agreement. He wants to come and he's been on the phone to Conte. Romano has just confirmed the bit that he's been on the phone to Conte, but Romano has confirmed that, yeah, Garnacho was talking to Napoli. Napoli are talking to Man United, but Garnacho is talking to Napoli. Garnacho's agent has had many meetings with Napoli, and there is reports coming out that Garnacho's agreed to join Napoli and verbal agreements there on personal terms. There could be some truth in that report. Garnacho could say, I'm not in the best form, I'm not fully in favour under Amorim, and actually, you know what, the Man United system long term going forward doesn't suit me. Napoli is made for me. Antonio Conte wants me. I'm his dream signing. He may feel more wanted at Napoli, especially with the news that Ineos are willing to get rid of him. And you can't blame Garnacho for going out and getting his agent to talk to clubs, and Garnacho saying, you know what, I'd be open to Napoli. I'd be open to move. You can't even blame Garnacho for that. If that's what he wants, I get it. And Conte does normally get his man, but Napoli normally get good bargains in the market. Can't blame Garnacho for being open to move, especially if the hierarchy informed keen to sell as well. If it's okay with Amorim, then reluctantly Napoli, no way for that price. If Amorim wants to sell Garnacho and Napoli bid 60 million, I'm okay with the deal, but I do think we've judged Garnacho too early. I don't know if he fits Amorim's system, and that's why I'm okay with the deal. But if I did think he'd suit Amorim's system, I'd be saying, why have we sold him so early? Because of the talent. Thank you very much, Say Miassi, for the super chat, reminding us that Spurs and United are relegation battle. Yet we'll probably still end the season with more trophies than Arsenal, saying, which is crazy. Another season where we win a trophy and you don't, hey? And we're relegation standard right now. Just highlights how underwhelming Arsenal are. You know, can't catch Liverpool. You won't get a better player than Garnacho for 50 mil. Well, that's why I want 60 mil for Garnacho. My problem with selling Garnacho is, who do you replace him with? If Wolves said to us, Matheus Cunha is available in January for £50 million, I'm more than happy to offload Garnacho and bring in Matheus Cunha because he suits Amorim's system. Do you know what I mean? But because Matheus Cunha isn't available to the summer, because Yoka isn't available to the summer, we're looking maybe Gittens to replace Garnacho with. Maybe Gittens, which is risk, because I think Gittens, again, is more of a winger than a 10. I think Gittens is young and raw like Garnacho. I think selling Garnacho and bringing Gittens in is a risk. I like Gittens. Don't get me wrong, I like Gittens, but selling Garnacho and bringing Gittens in and paying big money for Gittens in, I don't know what the improvement is. But with Cunha, you know what that improvement is. And I think Gittens has got elite potential, but there's always that concern there. Someone said Onana should be investigated for gambling after those errors. I mean, those errors were awful, but that's just Onana. He doesn't do it on purpose. He just has a mistake in him. Alvaro Fernandez is sitting there with a 16 million buyback clause. Yeah, I'm surprised we're not moving for him as well. Gittens is a similar profile to Garnacho, which is my only concern about them. We will talk about that. Alvaro and Brian Mbeumo in. I mean, that Brian Mbeumo would not say no to. Arsenal used to being second best, not winning much. That's the story of our rivalry with them. Very, very true. If I was Broad, I'd go to Brentford and give them an offer they can't refuse for Mbeumo. Mbeumo's up there. Cunha's my first choice because he's a more left-sided player, and we've got Ahmad on the right, but Mbeumo's up there. I like Vissa, and I like Semenyo as well. He could play across the front line as well. Maino's not for sale. I mean, Man United would look at selling Maino if there was a 100 million offer coming in, but it was Garnacho that's more likely to be sold than Maino, and that's been said many times by many sources, and heavily confirmed that, you know, the right price United would sell Garnacho and Maino, but they're not actively looking to sell them. And if they had to sell one of the two, it would be Garnacho and not Maino, 100%. Guys, we've got 1,200 people watching right now, so big up to everybody tuning in and supporting the channel. Your support means a lot to me, so thanks everyone. I hope you are enjoying this video. I want to get into Rashford news. I need to get into more Garnacho news. There's so much to talk about at the moment. It's absolutely crazy. So much to talk about. So let's dive into a few more stories, because we haven't even finished on the Garnacho front. We obviously know that Antonio Conte had a call with Garnacho, but Romano also said that Chelsea made direct contact with Manchester United and asked for the conditions of a Garnacho deal. More talks are expected soon. Garnacho's situation remains open. Doors for January exit are not closed, said Fabrizio Romano. I'll be fuming if Garnacho goes to Chelsea. I will be fuming if Garnacho goes to Chelsea. I can't lie to you, because I don't think that's a better move for Garnacho's career. And I always just think he'll probably go to Chelsea and be really good for them. And it's one of those where Chelsea don't buy players off us unless they know they're getting their money's worth. That I'm going to say that now. One sec. I've got to reply to this. Quickly. Chelsea don't go for our players unless they know they're getting their money's worth. But I'm hoping we're going to just use Chelsea to drive the price up from Napoli. Chelsea only sell us broken toys. Same on Ineos if they sanction that. Exactly. Chelsea only give us broken toys. And Chelsea got Sancho for 25 million. Let's be honest. We could get 40 million for Jadon Sancho. We could get 40 million for Jadon Sancho. They got him for 25 million. Chelsea only go for our players when they know they're getting a deal. So what else has been said? Because there's now sort of talk and suggestion that Rashford could stay and Garnacho could go. At the start of the January window, Chelsea considered discussing a potential swap deal with United involving Garnacho. United continued to demand much more than 40 to 45 million euros for Garnacho should they sell him in January. Chelsea are willing to offer that. So far, the biggest bid we've got for Garnacho, I think, is 46 million now from Napoli that we've rejected. I will say this, and I'm skeptical about João Felix because he's been inconsistent, he's a bit overrated, but he suits Amorim's system more than he suits Maresca's system, and Garnacho suits Maresca's system more than he suits Amorim's system, but Garnacho's worth more than Felix. 30 million and João Felix, maybe United consider something like that. But again, different ones. 25 million for Sancho, yeah, we could have got 40 million. Got a Sancho connection, people are saying Garnacho can go wherever he wants if we buy Cunha in front of Arsenal's nose. I mean, look, my dream is if we sell Garnacho, we get Cunha, but Wolves will not sell until the summer. That's been heavily confirmed. Do you think Rashford will leave? Well, we're going to talk about that just now. A deal for Marcus Rashford to leave Man United in the window is looking increasingly difficult. Borussia Dortmund will continue to push, but the finances remain a big issue. United are relaxed over the situation. Manchester United will step up their efforts this week to find the low move for Marcus Rashford, with Dortmund hopeful of signing him. French club Monaco are believed to be Dortmund's closest rivals. Now, I'm going to be honest with you on the Marcus Rashford case. From what I'm hearing and what's being said behind the scenes, is he's waiting for Barcelona. Barcelona have to move some things around, and Man United think it's going to be a deadline day deal to Barcelona on loan, with Barcelona paying some of his wages. Now, Man United are going to put out information maybe that they're happy for Rashford to come back and Rashford's happy to come back, because if it looks like we're desperate to let Rashford go out on loan, then teams know that they can try and get the deal while paying the least amount of money possible and mug off United to pay most of the wages because it's a high value loan. I see your surname, Abrahams. Are you Jewish, love? I'm not Jewish. I'm not religious myself, but I do get asked that a lot. PL rivals do not help us out. We would be crazy to sell a young star to them, 100%. That's why I'd rather him go to Napoli. But there is a feeling that Rashford's waiting for Barcelona, because apparently his brother told AC Milan no, he's waiting for Barcelona. Because AC Milan were going to pick him over Kyle Walker, because why wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Florian Plettenberg, he only recently just tweeted this. Borussia Dortmund now in direct contact with Manchester United about a loan deal for Marcus Rashford. However, there are still doubts as the financial package for 6 months would amount to 8 to 10 million euros, salary, fees, etc., which is also causing the transfer to AC Milan to stall. Additionally, there's some internal contact within Borussia Dortmund as Rashford plays in the same position as Gittens. So, there's a little bit of talk there. So Dortmund are in contact with Man United about a loan deal for Rashford. Now, Dortmund will try and get Rashford on the cheapest terms that they can. Of course they will. It's Dortmund, it's Man United, they know how to mug us off. There's doubts about the financial package, but they're looking at it thinking, well, he plays in the same position as Gittens. They're looking to sell Gittens. The thing is, Chelsea and a lot of clubs are interested in Gittens. Chelsea want a left winger. They're interested in Garnacho and Gittens. It's a bit of it's a bit of a weird domino effect, because Kvaratskhelia has gone to PSG and Napoli have got the money. And do you know what I feel? It's like Napoli get Garnacho, Chelsea get Gittens, Borussia Dortmund get Rashford, but then who do we get? It feels like there's a domino effect linked to all of these players. But it said, while Dortmund and Milan are still interested, it cannot be ruled out Marcus Rashford staying in Manchester United this winter. Even though he's been exiled from the last 3 or 4 squads, Marcus Rashford staying at Manchester United cannot be ruled out. I just was itching my eye, and it's completely blurred out there. That is so weird. So it can't be ruled out. That's what someone's saying. Yeah, it's getting worrying. If Rashford stays, I like Rashford. I like Rashford. But if Rashford stays and then he walks right back into the squad, it shows the incompetency of us in the transfer window. because it's clear Ruben Amorim wanted him gone. Now, if Marcus Rashford stays, he's got to walk back in that squad because he's better than Antony, he's better than Garnacho, and we're thin up top. And if he gets his attitude right and he tries hard, I have no issue with him walking back in the squad. But what I don't like about Marcus Rashford walking right back into that Manchester United squad is he's been exiled for the last 10 games. Ruben Amorim's made it clear he does not want Rashford around. And then all of a sudden we can't get him out. That's what I'm saying as well. And that's not a good look for us in the transfer window as well. Someone said, please get Nori. That's one to watch in the summer, but I don't think he's priority. If we get Gittens, I hope he doesn't flop like Kagawa. Yeah. I mean, Gittens is a risk. I do like Gittens. Really impressed me in the Champions League. But it's a risk. It's a risk. Do you know what? Was it Marcus Thuram we could have got 2 Januaries ago for about £10 million? And I was crying, Man United to do that. I don't know if you're watching me, and we didn't do it. That was so frustrating. Not a huge Rashford fan, but he didn't look bad in Amorim's system in the brief amount we saw. When he played as the left 10, you take away the Victoria Pleasing game where he was awful, but Everton's the only game he started left 10 in the Premier League in Amorim's system and scored 2 goals and had a good game. None of our other left tens have scored 2 goals. Rashford, Xerxes, Ahmed, if we're talking balance, my ideal front three with Bruno and Agati in the pivot, with Mano and Collier rotating in and out. But it's not going to happen. So I don't like Xerxes as a 10. Xerxes as a 10 versus Newcastle didn't work. Xerxes as a 9 the last 2 games has worked because there's sort of... I think Xerxes works better in the 9 because of the lack of wing-backs, we need a lot of mobility in our 10s in Amorim's system. There is links to Dorgu, but imagine selling Garnacho and replacing him with Dorgu, who plays in the Austrian league. Like, it's underwhelming, isn't it? It's very underwhelming. Marcus Rashford has no issue with Ruben Amorim and is ready to give 100% for the team. So, by the way, there's talk of Marcus Rashford staying, and there's a possibility Marcus Rashford may stay at United. So now we're sort of getting reports from Rashford's side, because if Rashford doesn't get a move, he has to make up with Ruben Amorim. So this is what's been said in regards to Marcus Rashford staying. Marcus Rashford has no issue with Ruben Amorim and is ready to give 100% for the team. Rashford is staying fit and ready to play if Amorim calls him up. Sources close to the player insist he has no problem with Amorim and is ready to give 100% if selected again. So this is saying to me, this is a brief from Rashford's team. Barcelona have to get a sale to bring Rashford in. And if Barcelona don't get that sale, they don't bring Rashford in. And then it's dependent on how much Dortmund are going to pay because of the packages. So there is a big possibility that, there's a possibility, I still think Rashford goes, but there's a possibility Rashford could stay at United. There's a possibility. And if Rashford stays at United after being exiled for 10 games, there's going to be a lot of question marks. So obviously, this news and this information is coming out here. Marcus Rashford has no issue with Amorim. He's ready to give 100% because this is Man United preparing, I think, in case they can't sell Rashford. They can't sell Rashford. Someone said, what do you think about Rashford coming back? I like Rashford, you know me, and I'd happily have Rashford back in the starting 11 if he deserves to be in it and he works hard in training. But the fact that he's been exiled for 10 games and the manager wants him out, it's a failure on Ineos if Rashford does not move in the window. And it doesn't look good if he comes back. And this is coming from someone that likes Rashford, but he can't come back. If the manager's made it clear he doesn't want him, he's been exiled for 10 games, you need to make sure he goes in January. And I'm saying this as someone that likes Rashford. You've got to act like a proper club. Do you know what I mean? Someone said he could go to West Ham. He would stay at Man United instead of going to West Ham. He wants to get back in the England squad. That's why he wants to leave. If you play well for United, you're going to get more recognition than if you play well for West Ham. I know it worked for Lingard, but Lingard wasn't playing for United. Bruno was there. Lingard was not getting a minute for United because Bruno was there. Rashford, he would get game time over Antony and Garnacho should he make up with Amorim because he's Rashford, he's better than Antony and Garnacho. Lingard wasn't anywhere near Bruno's level. That's why Lingard went to West Ham. It was a bit different. It was also said that Marcus Rashford remains available for selection at Manchester United and wants to play for the club. Rashford has been conducting extra training sessions to maintain his fitness. Marcus Rashford remains ready and willing to answer Ruben Amorim's call should the manager end his exile. He's been undertaking extra training privately in a bid to maintain fitness. So Marcus Rashford's apparently been doing extra training, wants to play for the club, wants to stay fit. This is a Marcus Rashford brief to say, Amarin, I'm ready to give 100%. I'm ready to play for United. If I don't get the move, I like United. Because there maybe is fear inside Rashford's camp that he won't get the move. This is a brief. Let's be honest. It's an absolute brief. I also think, my opinion, that Man United are more than happy with this story coming out because they think Dortmund want Rashford on loan. Let's say Dortmund are only offering to pay 30% of Rashford's wages. Man United put out this story that Rashford's happy to stay, blah, blah, blah. That might make Dortmund say, okay, we're going to have to pay a bit more than 30% of his wages. Man United will also probably want to make, this story known in the sense of so they don't get the bad end of a deal because clubs think we're desperate to get Rashford out. Because we always get the bad end of a deal. We always get bad end of the deal. Chelsea have signed someone called Mamadou Sarr as well. He will come in for the 25-26 season. So he'll come in the summer. He's from Strasbourg. Chelsea very busy in the window. Man City have signed 3 players. Did you know that West Ham put a straight up 57 million bid for John Duran? 57 million bid from West Ham for John Duran. Like, that is brave. That is brave. But that's ambitious from West Ham. Look, West Ham are more ambitious than us. Xerxes 100 times better than Højlund in the 10. Well, Højlund's not a 10, and Xerxes a 9.5. But right now at striker, I prefer Xerxes just because of his hold-up play. Yeah. Someone said, do you think we could get him Buemo? We could, but we'd have to pay a fair bit of money. Amarin doesn't rate Rashford. He doesn't, no, but Rashford is. Would you rather Rashford be left 10, Garnacho be left 10, or Bruno be left 10? That's the 3 options we've got because Mount's injured. And Garnacho's not doing it, and Bruno sometimes goes in the pivot. It'd be nice to have that option. But for me, ideal scenario is you get Cunha, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, let's be honest. So yeah, let's dive into the next story. I want to get through all the news and information. There's a lot to cover. Antony to Real Betis, here we go, verbal agreement in place. So that deal was done, Antony to Real Betis. So that's one deal done. We've got Antony done. Dorgu's being worked on. Could we get 2 deals in one day? Could we get 2 deals in one day? Antony, here we go. Dorgu, here we go. I've not known Man United that quick. But Napoli are in for Garnacho, Chelsea are in for Garnacho, Rashford could leave, we're in for Gittens, Antony's done, that's one deal today. Could United surprise us? Could we get a Dorgu? Here we go tonight? We could. There's a big meeting today with United, United Lecce, Dorgu. There's a big meeting today. Maybe we get 2 deals in one day. Antony's gone, Dorgu comes in. That'd be great to see. But that is one deal done. And Antony's loan deal to Real Betis has no option to buy included, but United will pay a significant percentage of his wages. We put a clause in Antony's loan deal to make sure they play him for at least 10 games from the start, because we're basically begging that Antony gets minutes, so then he can become sellable. That's what we're hoping. No point getting a 9 until we get midfielders who can control the game and 10 so you can create consistently. My priority is wing-backs first, left wing-back and right wing-back. Then we go for another midfielder that can control the game. No, left wing back, right wing back, left 10. So wing backs, followed by left 10 are the 2 priorities for me. Then midfielder that control the game, then lethal striker, then centre back. That's the order, and then we look at goalkeeper and etc. But that's the order for me. It was also said that United are interested in Sporting centre-back Ousmane Diomande. The Ivorian is expected to cost £42 to £51 million. One to watch in the summer, not January. We've got a gentleman's agreement that we will not raid Sporting in January. I like Diomande. I think he's a little overrated, but I do like him. But he has often played as a central centre-back, and I think Euro can be a central centre-back. We want a wide centre-back. That's what we lack, because I think most of our best centre-backs are central centre-backs. Well, said that Manchester United have made inquiries about Nouri and Crystal Palace left-back Tyrant Mitchell. I think that's them just saying to Lecce, we've got other options. We're not completely reliant on getting Dorgu, so lower the fee. And Ruben Amorim has apparently urged United to join the race for Borussia Dortmund forward Gittens. Manchester United apparently interested in Gittens. If Garnacho goes, they will heat this up. If Garnacho leaves, Manchester United will go heavy for Gittens, I think. I think that's who they see as the Garnacho replacement. But I don't think we won't make a move for Gittens unless Garnacho goes. Let's be honest. Diomande, nothing's going to happen now. It will be a summer signing, Diomande. But listen, oh no, we've got one more story to get into. No, we don't. Let me just make sure there's no news coming in before I wrap up the live show. But I've done 40 minutes of non-stop talking. Like, you guys don't know how quick I've spoken today. Murillo, well, you do actually. You were listening. Murillo's just signed a new deal at Forest. He's a left. I take Murillo at United. He's a proper left centre back. But yeah, there's news of Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. Man City announced their new signing, but there's no breaking news coming in while I've been live. But yeah, we've just sped through so much news today. So one deal's done in Antony. Maybe get another deal done later on. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you everyone for watching. See you next time. Bye.